Good morning, evening, afternoon. I'm tatocat. Welcome to my channel. Today we are playing Echoes Lucid9 Fangame. Previously, we beat the general when we used some abilities for the first time, which was cool. There's some electricity and some fire, and of course, I do love fire balls and flamey things. And Misaki died a couple times, but it turns out nothing bad happens when Misaki dies in battle. And now we decide to flank him with Hisao jumping from the sky and me just attacking from the side. And then this happened. We'll see. We can't hold him down for much longer. You need to strike the final. Listen to them, Rui. Remember what he couldn't do. Remember who he couldn't kill. Remember why you're here. I remember. Where am I? Whose family is this? A cold draft blows over my skin from the cracked open window next to my desk. Fresh snow outside billows into wind-swept dunes on the yard, enclosed by trees and a river long since frozen over. I sit in my study, staring at moving protein simulations on an anachronistic CRT monitor as the soft hum of the fan in my open-cased computer one I've upgraded countless times melds with the far-off laughter of children playing outside. Looking at them makes me feel some of the emotions I was taught to experience. Disappointment. I watched them waste their time on such a trivial activity. Jealousy. They were given something I can never understand or receive. Anger. Their constant giggling has interfered with my work. I envision the possibility of resorting to violence in order to silence them. In any other season, I would close the window, but I don't bother in these months. This cold that would make most shiver and turn white is the only temperature I can truly focus in. And I know they'll go away. And I'm sure something else is down here that I can't read. Mommy! The shadow of a child darkens my doorway. My doorway etched from polished mahogany. My altered biological daughter carrying a stuffed animal by the paw, one that drags along the floor in perpetual indifference. A strange and inconsistent assembly of flesh, one that I must adhere to, despite her redundancy. He insisted that this thing could complete us, yet all I see is a failed experiment that calls me mother. In her hands is a gift. I recognize it as such, despite its flimsy composition and lack of value. My husband would bring me objects of use to express his love. Perhaps she wanted to replicate that sort of gesture. However, she infringes on time that is not hers, and I am obligated to teach her patience. I made something for it. That's not how to do it. Mommy, that hurts. Why did you do that for? Mommy? Who's this now? Hana. Oh, so this is Hana. What do we do before we enter a room? We knock? That's right. If someone doesn't tell you to come in, you don't come in. Every time you forget that, I'm going to hurt you. Do you understand? Yes, Mommy. I'm sorry. You're 5 years old. You should be capable of following basic instructions. Go harass your father if you want affection. I'm busy. But Daddy's at work. Then go. Show Natsuki. Natsuki's scary, Mommy. She makes me feel things. Bad things. And then hurt her. I don't want to, Mommy. Hurting people makes me sad. It's the only way she'll learn, Hana. As long as your younger sister holds this power over you, she won't consider finding a way to treat you with dignity. She's a child, even compared to you. She won't cease her stupidity until she understands that she's an inferior force of subservience. Her pain should not concern you. If it does, you have failed. Now give me that. I hope you like it, Mommy. Hana, did you do this? Yeah, that's you and me, and over there's Daddy and Natsuki. No, below that. Oh, that's a pentanomial. I got 4, so I factored 1. Who taught you this, Hana? I did. And internet. Your work is messy, Hana. Inefficient. But I suppose you got the right answer. I only have a few 100,000 nucleotides left to sequence today. Get set up in the living room, Hana. When I'm done, I'll show you how to organize your work properly. Yay! Don't get too excited. It'll distract you from Hana. I love you, Mommy. This is such a heartwarming scene. I know. I didn't expect you to return so soon. The trifecta. Yeah, this is the voice I'm doing for Visitor. Whoever that is. The Trifecta Council reached a consensus prematurely Kazuhaya has voiced her support for a way forward. It's doing this glowy thing, so I assume it is who I think it is, this omnipotent specter glowy person, considering that she owes so much of her wealth and success to the chairman. It's unsurprising that she'd stand behind his asinine dream of hope. I don't know why you insist on reliving that memory so often. Can't this new version of the tapestry let you experience something else? Something better? It can, and it would. But that's not what I wanted to show. That's not what I wanted it to show me. What of the mayor? Has he voiced his support? He has. As you requested, I strengthened his link to you rather than using informational warfare to sway him. I hope you realize this is not the same person, and I don't know what the situation is, but I've already started this way, so I'm just going to continue this way. I hope you realize how much time you've squandered by allowing that sniveling old man to remain in power. This is a large-scale operation, one where subtlety takes precedence over time. I imagine you're fully aware of this by now. Unless, of course, you attempt to play God at the old academy. Attempting to play God at the old academy taught you nothing. Is the visitor Kosuke? The objective was accomplished. I never said otherwise. I simply told you that your intense fascination with puppets and pawns complicated the process. This isn't a chess match that you can play as you see fit. You're one of the pieces, and yet you refuse to acknowledge that when the game is over, all of us are thrown into the same box. And yet, I doubt it was an accident that the defective boy you involved in your efforts turned out to be of further use, or that Inamoto was exposed for her incompetence when you convinced her to take action. You made a mistake by allowing him to live. The chairman believes that Ishimoto and Hayata will be of greater use as live specimens. That alone is enough to justify their continued existence. If you'd like proof, I pulled this report from his mind while he was engrossed in repairing the damage you so unnecessarily did to the boy. He's discovered something that you might find interesting. Is this the teacher? It is, isn't it? We'll see. That his existence is a waste of valuable resources? No, fortunately. He assessed the structural damage to his limbic system and found its influence on memory could increase physical strength and motor coordination for a short period of time. Using NSAPs and a low dose of THB, he's managed to simulate the memory lapses that increase the boy's focus and capacity for sustained violence under stress. Combined with Hayata's unique genetic configuration, he believes that such a simulated lapse can be exploited during a state of extreme focus to increase subconscious processing speed by up to a factor of 10 to the third power. He's dubbed the process heightening. What you do with that data is none of my concern, but I'm expecting you to take responsibility for any incidental casualties that might arise from your constant string pulling. Understood. Since you still intend to allow these interlopers to become the face of Isamu, I took the liberty of altering the data on the IIBA incident to our advantage. Once fully declassified, official records will indicate that the killings were part of an EALF terror campaign. Interesting. Are you certain that you can convince the people of Isamu that this was the work of an outside entity? These people are mindless animals, inhaling and exhaling state propaganda like the air they're unfit to breathe. The very air they're unfit to breathe. With enough fabricated evidence to support the media's claims, they will believe whatever we tell them without a second thought. Then see to it that your retort does not suffer from any complications of logic. Ishimoto and Hayata will both be online within 48 hours. Perhaps you'll see by then that what they've become is not to be underestimated. I wonder... Wait. Someone's listening. Not me! You can't see me. I'm hiding. Let them. They wish to hear us. Then that is beyond our control. And if they truly wish to leave, they will be gone soon enough. Located the survivors you mentioned. Mostly workers, janitors, janitorial staff. Looks like Yoshida either took them as hostages or wanted to keep them from getting shot, perhaps both. All appear to be unharmed, but we can't risk breaking open the door until Black Star has full control of the facility. I'm guessing this is Emmy, maybe? Negative. Kawakami. Actual. Kawakami actual. So that Kawakami actual is Kosuke. So this probably is Emmy. Mobilize a search and rescue team, but stand by until all hostiles have been neutralized. Likewise, Kawakami Actual. So one of them was Kazuhaya. Which one's Kazuhaya? Man, I can't even remember people's last names anymore. Kazuhaya out. Wait, it's Misaki's voice. Oh, okay, it's Misaki talking to probably... Oh no, it's Lucid Actual. I don't know. So, Lucid Actual is Kosuke. So she was talking to Satomi? Maybe? What is she doing here? I mean, she was fighting with you. A chill prickles my spine as I rise to my feet from a kneeling position. More importantly, what am I doing here? Still suspended in a haze of lethargy and confusion, I make the mistake of looking down as soon as my vision clears. That answer is provided by the dagger clutched firmly in my right hand and the lifeless armored body that lies contorted at my feet. I must have gotten into a knife fight, and judging from the smoke rising through the cracks in the unknown figure's helmet, looks like I won. If that's the case, why can't I remember taking him down? This dagger, the shrike, or is it Shirdike? I think. I distinctively remember, unless it says strike and it's just not written correctly. I think I distinctively remember it being part of the loadout the SSD issued me. I couldn't have been captured, not successfully at least. I would have been disarmed if that were the case. Maybe a concussion from taking a heavy fire in damaged armor? No, I'd be nauseous, have blurred vision, and most likely have been knocked off balance. Instead, until a moment ago, all my eyes could see was darkness. Now, before everything went dark, I saw images I couldn't identify as anything. Heard voices that seemed to know I wasn't there. Seemed to know I was there. They couldn't have been real. Not unless it was Misaki or Hisao talking to me. Maybe it was the commander on comms. I'm going to have a hell of a time trying to explain this to her. Rui, can you hear me? Miki? Well, you can see me, at least. That's a start. Told you she'd make it. Did we neutralize Yoshida? Misaki takes a step back and gestures towards the crumpled mass on the floor. Surprisingly, there's no blood to step in. Hisao followed your order and incapacitated him. You struck the final blow. Many final blows, in fact. I'm not sure what the chairman did to you, but I've never seen anyone get stabbed in the head so rapidly, let alone through armor. Then you just stopped. Stood there like you were waiting for something to be over. Stopped is a bit of an understatement. Electrical activity in your brain and heart flatlined for 15 whole seconds. Were I any less familiar with the division's work, I'd currently be reconsidering my stand on demonic possession. I hope you'll pardon my use of terminology, but I would be remiss to classify this as anything but black magic psycho shit. How technical of you. I try. Yes, black magic psycho shit. That is indeed what it was. As usual, I can tell if Sal's pulling my leg. It's probably best if I get a second opinion on this. What? Black magic psycho shit isn't good of enough explanation? Lucid9 to Lucid1. 9? Your biometrics started flashing KIA out of nowhere. What the hell happened down there? Black magic psycho shit, ma'am. She doesn't say that? Okay. I was hoping you could tell me, ma'am. Could this have been a false positive? It's not technically impossible, but the odds of that happening are about 1 in 5 quintillion. Report to the medical bay once you're back at base, operative. I'd like the techs to run some tests on your central nervous system to make sure it wasn't overloaded by your implants. Understood, ma'am. What should I do in the meantime? According to SSD telemetry, you three just neutralized the last hostile in the factory. You have my permission to extract if we only had division boots on the ground. This is almost exclusively a Black Star operation, so get whoever's in charge there to clear you for departure and hitch a ride back to the Lotus Tower. The general was a high priority target, and you managed to take him down. That alone was a major victory, and not just for KCOM. Satomi's going to want to hear about what you accomplished today. So, I'd like you to report to her once you get there. Just try your best not to talk about how you accomplished it. What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with the black magic psycho shit. That's how it happened. No science involved. I feel like his style has some of the most amusing lines in this game. Taking down a formally decorated military officer with 50 stab wounds to the head doesn't outright constitute violation of the ROE, but I'd like you to refrain from using that level of excessive force from now on. If any footage of you going balls deep like that got out, the optics wouldn't be great for the rest of us. All things considered, though, you did a better job than most people would, and that goes for all of you. I hope you're proud of what you accomplished today. Stay safe, operatives. Lucid 1 out. So, So I know now in the future I need to get like my intelligence stats and my charisma stats up, because apparently they are indeed important. So we'll see how the explanation goes in the next episode.